The controversy is real as an ESPN insider has revealed a franchise quarterback whose team has him in a rough spot, which has Jets fans asking, could this player be available for the New York Jets? And we have to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Football 365. If you're a New York Jet fan, please hit that subscribe button. But getting into the news for today, coming from ESPN this morning, ESPN's insider Peter Schrager said two important things. The first, he said the San Francisco 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, their head coach, he loved the quarterback Mac Jones coming out of Alabama back in the 2021 draft. And they were considering taking him over the quarterback that they eventually ended up selecting in Trey Lance. So now Peter Schrager is saying that there is a possibility that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones all along. And now when he has Mac Jones on the San Francisco 49ers, who has been going off recently, he has been theorizing that Kyle Shanahan wants to hang on to Mac Jones as the long-term starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So where does that leave their current injured starting quarterback? That's what New York Jet fans all want to hear about. Brock Purdy is a name that it could be available this upcoming offseason. The New York Jets have they now have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons, which gives them masterful amounts of trade flexibility to go out and get maybe a veteran quarterback, and maybe they're done with going to the draft and taking rookie quarterbacks and trying to develop them. They haven't worked out in New York. So people are saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again. So now the Jets have the opportunity to do something different with a trade for a veteran. Now, the problem with Brock Purdy, there are 2 problems. First of all, his contract is absolutely huge. If we bring up what he is being paid, he is currently the 8th highest paid quarterback in the NFL from an average money per year perspective, making $53 million per year. He's actually tied for 7 with Jared Goff. Very, very expensive. He is owed $265 million over his entire contract. Like I said before, $53 million per year. Now, this is a humongous contract, but it's something that the New York Jets actually have room for. Now that we cleared off of our books by trading away Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, the New York Jets have a ton of cap space for the upcoming years. Also, we are uniquely positioned to be able to get good players on very cheap deals using our first round picks. So what the New York Jets can do, if the San Francisco 49ers would rather switch to Mac Jones on a much cheaper contract, the New York Jets could send something like a little bit more than this, but something like our second round pick this year, Dallas's second round pick this year, and then maybe some other non-day 1 picks in the future. And then the Jets could build a core around our 2 bookend tackles, Armand Membo at right tackle, Olu Fashanu at left tackle, Garrett Wilson, our franchise wide receiver. Then we would have 5 more draft picks to go fill out an offense around Brock Purdy, re-sign Breece Hall as well. All you really need offensively is just draft 1 more wide receiver. We have Mason Taylor at tight end. That's a pretty good offense. Then you can use 4 other first round picks to fill out the defense. We got to replace Sauce Gardner. We need to replace Quinnen Williams, and we need more help at the linebacker position. But that is an opportunity that the New York Jets can take, and we are uniquely positioned to handle a Brock Purdy trade should the San Francisco 49ers want to move off of this player. Now, the other problem with Brock Purdy, he was a 7th round pick coming out of the University of Iowa State. So, a little connection there. Iowa State, that's where Allen Lazard went, where Breece Hall went, where Will McDonald, the 4th, went. So plenty of Cyclones represented on the New York Jets depth chart right now. Also, Kene Nwangu, another Iowa State Cyclone. So the Cyclone bloodlines run deep with the New York Jets. It's not only about Ohio State, but the question now with Brock Purdy, the second red flag is, can he win in the NFL in a scheme that is not the San Francisco 49ers? One of the number 1 reasons why Purdy has been as successful as he's been is because the scheme around him has been absolutely amazing. And it's because Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive head coaches in the entire NFL. And they might be thinking, people may look, well, Brock Purdy was successful. Sam Darnold kind of revived his career there. Also, Mac Jones now looks really successful. Maybe everyone can just run this offense. It might just be that easy of an offense that everyone can run, and Brock Purdy isn't that good outside of that offense. So now that's an additional risk that the New York Jets would be taking on. And if the New York Jets volunteer to take the contract and, talk him into saying we're worried about his adaptability to our offensive scheme, that can lower the price of Brock Purdy. And that's why I believe if they do want to move off of him, he would be available for less than a first round, or not less than a first round pick, but without being forced to give up a first round pick, so the New York Jets could still use all 5 of those first round picks on quality players to fill out around Brock Purdy. So I know a problem schematically wise, specifically for the New York Jets, is Aaron Glenn definitely wants a rushing quarterback. He wants someone who is highly mobile. He doesn't want, Brock Purdy is a pocket passer. He's a smaller guy. One of the reasons why he fell in the NFL draft is because he lacks elite traits. Elite traits are, being 6'5" is your height, your athleticism, and your arm strength. He doesn't have elite arm strength, not an elite athlete. He's not 6'5", he's not built like Josh Allen. He's a very good processor, but he doesn't have those elite physical traits that you're looking for. And we know our head coach, Aaron Glenn, is looking for those physical traits. And one of the number one guys he is no doubt looking at right now is Lenore Sellers out of the University of South Carolina, because Aaron Glenn does covet those elite traits that Lenore Sellers brings to the table, more so than most quarterbacks that we've seen in recent years. Think Anthony Richardson. However, one last thing we got to bring up, we can bring up Brock Purdy's stats. Over the course of his 4-year career, really, really good quarterback, but is he going to win in the other schemes? Last season in 2024, we're not going to look at the 2025 stats because he's been injured, but hovered around his whole career around a 66% completion percentage. Back in 2024, the last year when he completed a full season, he had a 66% completion percentage, 3,864 yards, and passed for 20 touchdowns. His best year coming statistically in 2023, his second year in the NFL, first year as a full-time starter, completing almost 70% of his passes for 4,280 yards and 31 touchdowns, averaging a ridiculous 9.6 yards per completion. That's absolutely crazy. But remember, he's doing this with an ideal supporting cast around him. This is back when Deebo Samuel was really, really good. This is back when Brandon Ayuk was 1 year before his all-pro season. They had a healthy George Kittle. They had Christian McCaffrey, who is Christian McCaffrey. This team was a fantastic football team and a great offense around Brock Purdy. The New York Jets, when we got to pay Brock Purdy, the New York Jets will not be able to put that type of offense around our quarterback. Brock Purdy is going to be too expensive for that. So we're going to give him we're going to have Mason Taylor. We're going to have Garrett Wilson. Hopefully we can draft another wide receiver to fill out that wide receiver room. We're going to see what Adonai Mitchell, John Mechie, Arian Smith turn into. Pretty much everyone else in the rest of that wide receiver room can walk. And we're going to have to see, hopefully, I do hope Breece Hall wants to come back on a contract extension. The news with him is, after wanting to be dealt at the trade deadline, it is now being reported that he has changed course, and he is now not only open to, but is hoping for a contract extension with the New York Jets to go make a difference. Although I do believe the Kansas City Chiefs messed up by not upgrading their offer from a 4th-round pick to a 3rd-round pick to pick up the 4th-year running back for the New York Jets. But that's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go Jets!